This is how I made $100 this week without spending more than 2 minutes on it with a relatively small account. I trade options on Robinhood. More specifically, I use a strategy called the wheel or triple income. I have made a video explaining every single detail about this strategy, so if you don't know what the strategy is, take a look at that video first so that this one makes more sense. I put it in the description below so you guys can take a look at it. Let's start with the first trade that I made, which was TNA. With TNA, I started the process of the wheel strategy by selling a put. Remember, when we sell a put, we want the stock to stay above the strike price. I sold the put with the strike price of $27, which means I put up $2,700 of collateral because it's 27 times 100 shares. Last Friday for a premium of $84, so I made $84. This contract expired today, so I didn't have to buy the 100 shares and I kept the $84. And by midnight, I should get my collateral back. The second stock I sold a put on this week was American Airlines. This one I sold a put at a strike price of $11 for a premium of $14. This one I made a considerable amount less on the premium because I am putting less money for collateral. See, instead of $2,700 of collateral, I only put $1,100 in case I need to buy the 100 shares at the strike price. I also bought it on July 29th, which was halfway through the week. It was on Wednesday of this week. So since it was expiring on Friday, it was only 2 days before it had to expire. So remember that the longer the time between the date you buy the contract and the date that the contract expires, so the longer that time is, the more the contract will be worth, the more you can charge for the premium. For example, if I sell a put at $10 for August 7th, I get $8 of premium. But if I sell it on the 14th, same strike price, I get $22. But this is 2 weeks from now instead of 1. So adding $84 from TNA and $14 from American Airlines, that is $98, so basically $100. And only using $3,800 as collateral in case I needed to buy the 100 shares. But if I bought the 100 shares, I would still make my $100. In only 1 week, we got a 2.63%. A normal yearly return from an ETF like S&P 500 is 12%, which comes to like 0.23% weekly return. And in just 1 week, we got 2.63, which is 10 times as much. This is how small accounts can make a source of passive income, $100 a week, and beating the S&P 500. Just remember that there is more risk doing the wheel strategy than an ETF, and you also get taxed a bit higher. I also wanted to keep you guys in the loop with Intel. With Intel, I did not do the wheel strategy. Instead, I bought a call ending next week. When you buy a call, you expect the stock to go up in price. And since Intel had really good earnings, it had a 20% increase from last year, quarter two. The only thing that made it crash was the delay of the 7 nanometer, and so the stock price fell. But I thought it was going to start picking up again because they still had really good earnings, right? Everybody's working from home, so the demand is a lot higher. So I bought 2 calls for the strike price of $52 and paid a premium of $36 per contract. Instead of Intel going up like I thought it would, it kept going down. And that is why the contract is only worth $4 now. So I spent $36 for a contract, and now it's only worth $4. So that's negative $32 per contract. Times 2, that's negative 64. Buying a contract, in my opinion, is a lot more risky than the wheel strategy. That's why I only use $72 that I'm willing to lose. And I am most likely going to lose it if Intel does not start picking up in the next week. But I am still hopeful that I can make some of my money back. I also wanted to give you guys an update on my AMD call. I have made a few videos about my progress with AMD calls now and how I bought to close the contract using $2,000 to profit an extra couple hundred. But for those who have not watched those videos, I will give you guys a quick recap. I first sold 2 puts on AMD, one for $51 strike price and the other for $53 strike price. The average is 52. I then sold a couple calls that never executed because AMD traded sideways between $53 and $56 for a couple weeks. So I just kept making money off the premiums weekly. Then I sold 2 calls for a strike price of 57, just like a normal week. However, later that week, AMD announced their new chipsets. So the stock flew from like $55 to $60. Then that Friday, the 24th, Intel announced a delay in 7 nanometer chip. So AMD jumped to 69. From 53 to 69, it was a huge jump. I could have let the contract execute at 57, so I had to sell my 200 shares at 57 because I had 2 contracts. And that would have been a pretty good return because I would have made $1,000 from capital gains and $148 off premium. But I saw an opportunity to make even more money. So I closed the contract, I bought my 200 shares back, but I had to spend $2,260 because it was $1,130 per contract to close. So I kind of did waste $2,000, but I got my shares back. And I sold the call at a higher price of $65. I received a premium of $569 per contract, so times 2, that's $1,138. And selling it at 65 instead of 57 is an extra $800 per contract, so an extra $1,600. If I add the $1,600 from the capital gains and the $1,138 from the premium, I made $2,738. But because I used $2,260 to buy my shares back, I made an extra profit of $478 on top of the $1,000 that I would have made if I would have let the contract execute at 57. Then I changed my mind again because AMD was going to announce their earnings on Tuesday, the 28th. And so I decided to close the contract, but this time for a profit. I sold the 2 calls, like I said, at $1,138, right? Each one at $569. Then I bought to close at $1,070 since AMD went down a little bit. So I made a profit of $68 right there. And I decided to sell my last call after AMD announced their earnings. When they did announce their earnings, I sold my 2 calls at a strike price of $74. So AMD went up from 55, trading sideways for a couple weeks, couple months, and now it's at 74. That's a crazy jump. Either way, I sold my 2 calls at a strike price of $74 since that's where AMD was trading at the time, and I made a premium of $201 per contract. So that's an extra $402. Because of this, I made an extra $1,622 on top of the $1,000 I would have made if I sold at 57. Now AMD is much higher. It's trading around $77. AMD's killing the game. I would have made a lot more money if I wasn't trading options because I wouldn't have had to spend $2,000 to buy my shares back or cap my limit at 74. But I didn't expect AMD to jump 45% from one week to another. That's how the market is. You never know what's going to happen. So overall, I'm happy with my return because in 5 weeks trading options with the wheel strategy, I made $3,400 of profit, starting with only $15,000. That is a 23% return, which means I beat the S&P 500 yearly return of 12% by double in only 5 weeks. I'll definitely keep trading options and I'll keep updating you guys with what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below if there's anything you want me to go over in the next video and I'll take a look at it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.